welcome to the Mommy channel. This is Cassie. Picture of me on the left and a picture of William, 17 months old, who's about to be 18 months on Thursday actually. He's just tying his shoes there. So I decided to do this video a bit differently. It's going to be more of a PowerPoint and then I'm just going to voice it over, so I hope you enjoy it. The topic that we'll be talking about today is what's the importance of play talk and how we can implement it into our parenting. Most of the information that I'll be providing comes from this book, Talk to Me Baby, How You Can Support Young Children's Language Development, and it's written by Betty S. Bardage. It was published in 2009, so it's a recent book. It was published by Paul H. Brooks Publishing Company. They're an awesome company. They have a variety of books, educational books, on early education and just parenting and education for children kindergarten through 12th grade, I believe. And they even have books on autism or learning disabilities, so they're pretty cool. I will Google them. They're usually the first option on Google, or you can just go to www.brookspublishing.com and then you will want to click on products so you can find this book and other amazing books that they have. So a little bit about the author, Betty S. Bardage. She is a developmental psychologist. She has a doctorate in human development from Harvard Graduate School of Education. And, some of her previous works are At a Loss for Words, How America is Failing Our Children and What We Can Do About It. And that was published in 2005. And then she co-wrote Building Literacy with Love and Poems to Read By with Marilyn Siegel, and that was also published in 2005. And then in 2008, she became a contributing writer to second edition of 0 to 3's Classics, Caring for Infants and Toddlers and Groups, Developmentally Appropriate Practice. So she's pretty well versed in the writing realm, because she's published quite a few books. She seems like a pretty awesome person. I would definitely Google her, get to know her a bit more, and even read these books. I'm planning to read these books after I finish reading Talk to Me Baby. So, the importance of play talk. What is it? It's basically when an adult engages in conversation with a child. So that can be parent, son, mom, daughter, teacher, student, aunt, grandparent, or even a babysitter if you're, watching little ones. And what are the forms of play talk? It varies, but it can look something like telling a story to your little one, whether it's reading by a book during nighttime, or if you're just, making up a story as you go along. It could also be playing pretend or dress up with your little one and just narrating to your child what you guys are doing. That way your child gets exposed to extensive vocabulary and rich language. And it could also be just having a conversation with your little one, and the little one is just being captivated by what you are telling him or her. And it taps into their creative realm. Okay, so what's the importance? It establishes positive, nourishing environments and relationships between parents and children and students and teachers. And these environments and relationships allow children to have confidence to learn, explore, and persist in face of challenge. And those children who miss out on these nourishing environments and relationships, their ability and eagerness to learn are compromised, and they will find it more difficult to form positive relationships in the future. So that is huge, guys, because it's basically saying that kids have the innate ability to learn, explore, question, and be persistent. But the only way for them to do that is if they have positive, nourishing environments and relationships, because they need confidence to engage in those activities. And if they don't have that, they're gonna struggle to believe in themselves and to do things that they are capable of doing. And it's sad because not all children have that opportunity. And as a parent, that really hits home for me because I wish all children had that opportunity, and I try to make sure that my son William has that opportunity. So that's the importance of play talk, according to this book. So the crucial years are between 1 and 4, because around their first birthdays they say their first words, and then they'll start putting the words together by 18 and 30 months. But again, kids all develop at different rates, so don't be alarmed if your kid doesn't start saying his first words until after his first birthday. As long as your pediatrician has assured you that your child is growing healthy and is developing normally, then you're fine. Between 1 and 2, kids do most talking with adults, and that's pretty neat because it reminds us that we want to, engage in positive conversations with them, because they learn our behaviorisms and our speech patterns, because they talk to us mostly at a young age, and it's until the age of 3 that most kids will become less dependent on adult conversation patterns, and they'll increasingly start talking to themselves, toys, peers, and imaginary friends, which is pretty neat. So if you see your kid doing this, I would suggest taking pictures or recording it, because it's adorable and it just shows how much they've grown developmentally. And then as kids get older, the range of relationships and vocab growth are shaped by peers, books, community, experiences, and adults in their life. So that's pretty awesome too. And as parents, we want to make sure that we prepare our children as they get older, so they are able to navigate in the world we live in. And that's through positive and nourishing environments and relationships. So it's important to talk to your babies during infancy, because the more you engage in conversation with your kids, their basic communication patterns and vocab building will become well developed as they enter kindergarten. And there's been a high trajectory shown in the book, despite kids who are learning 2 languages at infancy or in school. And that's pretty neat because, we've heard people say, oh, a kid learning 2 languages at a young age, they're going to find it difficult to, saying their first word or talking when they turn 2 or 2.5. And to a point, yeah, that's true, because it is a little more difficult to learn 2 languages at the same time, because you have to decode from one to the another. But it gets easier over time, and I can attest to that because I grew up speaking Spanish at home, and then I learned English when I entered kindergarten, and it was a struggle my first few years in elementary school. But with, help from my teachers and my parents, I was able to hone my skills in both languages. So I think it's pretty beneficial to learn more than one language. And then more talk makes a difference, because more talk is richer talk. So I would remember that sentence, use it as a mantra to remind you of engaging in positive conversation with your little ones, because you want to make sure that your little one is getting the best in his or her life. And one way to do that is engaging in play talk with them. So kids who use words to control behavior, avert or cope with frustration, and negotiate with others are less likely to act out aggressively or withdraw from social interactions. So that is huge, guys, because it shows that the more talk you have with your little one, and not just like regular talk, but like play talk where you engage and pretend play, read books to them, sing to them, take them out to field trips or something, and just show them around and just narrate what you guys are doing, the more likely they're gonna be able to control their behavior, be able to express themselves without acting out. And that is awesome. Okay, so the differences between play talk and business talk, according to Bardage, is that business talk is necessary for kids because they need clear directions and limits when they're being taught. It helps them understand the world and how to navigate it. And these conversations are serious, goal-oriented, directive, and succinct. Fewer affirmations are used, and it's very adult-initiated, so it's basically the adult giving instructions to the little one, of what to do, what not to do, what's okay to do, how to do something. And that's not necessarily bad. It's needed. Otherwise, your little one won't learn how to navigate well in the world. But you need balance with play talk, because play talk expands a child's mind, expands their creativity, it allows them to be silly, it expands their emotional growth, they're exposed to expansive vocabulary and grammar. It teaches a child how to use expressive language. It also helps them to decontextualize ideas, enjoy rhythms and rhymes, and it helps them to get attuned to component sounds of words, especially if you're reading books to them. I would suggest Dr. Seuss. He's pretty awesome because most of his books rhyme and they're silly and they're fun to read. And then these conversations tend to be more responsive to the child, so the adult wouldn't necessarily initiate the conversation. The child could just say a simple word or a simple sentence, and the adult will just elaborate and just go along with it, just to get the child, talking and try to communicate more and more and more. That way he or she learns more words and then is able to communicate more eloquently as he or she gets older. And then if you want the complete list, guys, I suggest you get the book Talk to Me Baby. It's a pretty awesome book and it's a pretty neat list. So my initial reactions to the book are that I love it. It's awesome, easy read. I recommend it. It's very textbook-like, but it's easy to read, fast to read, and that's great because as parents rarely have a time to ourselves because our kids keep us preoccupied. It has 7 chapters. It's arranged developmentally, so by age. It also has a study guide for guiding questions. So if you're using this book for classes, clubs, or groups, it's a great book and it's a great study guide to use to foster diverse and rich conversations with your peers. It has research, vignettes, and plenty of resources as well in the book, and that shows you that the information you're reading is valid because it's been viewed and analyzed and researched by professionals. And personally, this book has reassured me that I'm making a positive impact on my kid, on William, because it's shown me that talking is both productive and nourishing for not only him, but for myself, because it shows me that I can enjoy spending time with William simply just by talking to him and being silly and reading to him and singing, which I know he enjoys. Actually, he's the only one who enjoys it because my voice is not made of honey, unfortunately, and my boyfriend can attest to that. And then at the same time, this book has definitely shown me that there's plenty of room for improvement. And I definitely have room for improvement because if you know me personally, I'm not much of a chatterbox. I don't talk that much. And since I started reading this book, I've tried to engage in more conversations with William, more in the creative realm where, we explore together and I try to get him to hear new words and new rhymes and whatnot. And this book provides great strategies and resources for me to use to, do more as a parent. But again, parenting is difficult. It's never easy, and it's always a constant learning experience. All right, guys. So I do hope you enjoyed this short video. Please, 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 please leave comments, questions, recommendations, or just share your experiences as a parent on my channel. William and I would really love to hear from you guys. We really do. Because we are trying to build a little community here where we share our experiences and our thoughts and ideas about parenting, because it is a learning experience. So if you did enjoy it and if you enjoyed the pictures, please like our video, subscribe, and share it with your friends, family, or whoever you think would benefit and appreciate from viewing my channel. All right, guys, until next time, later.